Hello everyone, welcome to Malin Chess Kids. Today we'll show the game played by Bassem and Marco. And this game complete in only 28 moves and with a very interesting triple sacrifice from the white. And let's see how the game start. The game start with the knight to f3, then knight f6, g3, e6, bishop to g2, c5, and now you have the French with the unusual white second move. So the game continue with white make a short castling, then d5 and d3, then the black play bishop to e7, and here this is the first fine move, and you can see that both is in the equal position. Then the game with the knight b to d2, and the black castling, then e4 and the knight to c6, and now rook to e1, and you have a b5, and here you have a very strong 3-pawn attack. Then the white play e5 attacking the knight, and now the knight to d7, then the white play knight to f1, then a5 was played, and now you have 4 pawns, and here is a very strong for the black, and here the black has an edge as the black control most of the square in the board. So after this position, the white continue to play h4, then bishop to a6, and now the knight 1 to h2, and b4 was played, and now bishop to f4, and the black play a4, and here the white play rook to c1, and c4 was played, and the white play d4, then c3 was played, and here you can see that the black keep on pushing the pawn storm and trying to attack the queen side. And you can use the difference between these two positions is that the black trying to pressure on the queen side is this area, while the white all the pieces in the king side. And you can see that in this quadrant you have many active pieces and preparing to attack the king side. So at this stage the white has the initiative to develop the piece and keep on to attack the king on the king side. So the game continue. The white play b3, and now the black is better. Then the pawn takes b3, and the A takes B3. Then bishop to B5, and the rook become active and can come to rank 2 and attack the pawn. So the black has many activity. Then bishop capture the knight, and now the pawn capture back. Then the knight to E7, and here queen to H5, and then the rook to E8, and this is a 20th move, and the position is equal, and the white has a strong idea to attack the black. Then the white continue to play a knight to G4, bringing the knight to attack the king. And after this, the black play a knight F8, and this is a tactical blunder, and with this the white is winning the game, as here the white continue to play and make 3 sacrifice from the move 22. So here is the first sacrifice with the knight to F6 and check the king. So in the actual game, the white play knight F6 and check the king. And if you move the king away, king to H8, then the queen you're able to capture the pawn, free pawn, and then we will continue to develop the bishop to checkmate the black. So for example, after this, the queen can take the pawn at F7. Then if the black capture the knight, G takes F6, then the white can just play a G takes F6 and attacking the knight, and also the queen can go to G7 and checkmate the king. And if the knight to F5 to prevent the checkmate, then you can play and use the bishop to checkmate the king. So after this, if the queen capture the pawn, then the pawn just capture the queen, and the checkmate cannot be avoided. And if you play rook to A7, then you can just use the bishop and check the king. And after knight capture, then you have a pawn takes the knight, and you have the pawn checkmate, and the king cannot move to G8. So another idea is that if you do not capture the pawn, and the black can just play a queen B6. However, after this, the knight will just capture the rook, and if you capture back the knight, then the bishop will go to H3 and attack the pawn. And here the white is the game. So in knight F6, the first sacrifice, the black capture the knight with the pawn, G takes F6, and after this, the white play G takes F6 again, and here the black must prevent the G4 square. and here the queen can just go to h6 and checkmate the king. Then you can push the pawn to attack the knight and the knight to control the g7 square. So after this, the knight to f5, and here the bishop go to h3 and trying to attack the knight, and here after this the queen can go to h6 and checkmate the king. So after this, the black play king to h8, and then the white play king to g2, and here it prepare to allow the rook to attack the h file. And after this, the black play knight to g6, and after this the bishop just capture the knight, bishop takes f5, and now the white return to checkmate at queen to h6 and come to g7 and checkmate the king. So this is the second exchange, and after this the pawn do not capture. If you capture the bishop, then the rook can go to h1, and now capturing the pawn will be winning. And after this, if your knight just capture the bishop and check the king, you can just use the pawn and capture back. Then after the rook check, and you can just move the king forwards, and after this there's nothing much you can prevent, and also stop the white continue to win the game, such as you can capture the pawn, and the rook also cannot come to here as the pawn is protecting the square. So after bishop and after this position, the white is winning, and here the white made another great sacrifice and win the game. I give you a couple of seconds to figure out how the white continue to play and win the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves. In the actual game, the white made a queen sacrifice. Queen takes h7 and made into. After the sacrifice, there's nothing can block the check, and the other way is to capture back the queen. And after the king capture back the queen, then you have rook to h1 and checkmate the king, as the bishop is pinning the knight, and the knight cannot be moved to h4 to block the check. And with this, thank you.